My name is Caroline Holmes and I'm a mediator with South and West Mediation Services. Today I'm going to be joined by two other of our mediators, Cathal Minahan and Pat Durkin. When people contact us, they often are a bit confused about what mediation is about, and it's really very simple. Mediation is a process whereby the parties identify the things that are bothering them. We write up an agenda, and during the meetings we work through their agenda items, discussing, negotiating until we find a resolution that suits them. Cathal, often people ask us before they come to mediation, they're a little bit anxious and they want to know what they can expect.
Well, mediation is a problem-solving process, and it works where the parties come and have an open and frank discussion about the issues and try and resolve them together. So it's effectively a problem-solving process, and generally the outcome involves a win-win outcome for both parties.
I'd like to welcome Pat Durkin in front of the camera now. Pat's one of our accredited mediators with South and West Mediation Service. Pat, as a mediator, what would you say the mediator is responsible for?
The mediator is responsible, I suppose, really for guiding the process through a well-tried and trusted formula, and hopefully agree the ultimate solution.
Thank you. Pat, are there situations where sessions could go on longer than 2 hours?
There are indeed, and some have. If we feel that the mediation is going well, if all parties feel the mediation is going well, we go with the flow, and we will try always to bring it to a conclusion as quickly as we can.
Carl, another point that people often check out with us in advance, is it expensive going through mediation?
Well, mediation is significantly less expensive than litigation or going through the court process. The payments are on a per session basis, so the payments or the total cost will depend on the number of sessions, but even allowing for that, it still is significantly less expensive than court proceedings. The other thing to bear in mind is that we are a not-for-profit organisation, so we advise people in advance of the costs that are involved, and we tailor the costs to the financial circumstances of parties.
Pat, often couples come to us with very sensitive issues that they want to talk about and they want to find a resolution for. Can they be assured that what they tell us won't go outside the mediation room?
100%, Caroline. All sessions are completely confidential. The only record that's ever kept in South and West Mediation Services is the agreement to mediate, which is signed by both mediators and by both parties. That is the only thing that's ever kept, and there is no fear of confidentiality being broken whatsoever.
People are often confused about legal advice, seeing solicitors rather than seeing mediators, and they'll often ask us, will you give us legal advice?
Well, we won't give legal advice to the parties, but from time to time we may suggest that they would take their own independent legal advice. There may be a particular issue that they may want to obtain legal advice on, and we might recommend that to the parties. Caroline, what if the parties are unhappy with the mediation process or want to leave the mediation process?
It's a voluntary process, Carl. We don't demand people stay in the process if they're not happy with it. I have to say from experience we have very few people who don't complete because they see the benefit of working together as a team with the mediators, trying to find a resolution to the things that have really been bothering them. But of course there are situations where one of the other doesn't want to continue with the process, and they are free to say, I would like to stop the process now. Also, the mediators are able to stop the process as well. And again, this happens very infrequently, but there may be things sadly, child abuse, money laundering. There may be issues of legal complexities that might impact on the process, and therefore the mediators obviously can also withdraw. Carl, now I've got you in the hot seat. Another question for you. What happens if the case goes to court?
Well, while the parties are engaged in mediation, they have control over the outcome. When the case goes to court, they lose that control, and they're putting the resolution of the dispute in the hands of a judge who may very well come up with a solution which may not be acceptable or suitable or satisfactory to either party. Caroline, are the mediators with South and West Mediation Services accredited mediators?
Absolutely, we're fully trained and accredited by the Mediators Institute of Ireland.
Caroline, if somebody is interested in setting up a mediation with South and West Mediation Services, how do they go about that?
Very simple, Carl. Our details are on the website. People can either email us or phone us. There's a mobile, and one of the mediators will have the mobile with them 24/7. And if we can't answer, please leave a message and we will get back to you as quickly as possible. We can normally see people within a fortnight of them contacting us. What I would say is that both parties have to be in agreement, because it is a voluntary process, for us to be able to book an appointment.